Welcome back to this podcast. I'm your host, Robbie Brown. Across from me is my co-host, Adam Nielsen, and across from us on Zoom is our other co-host, Dusty Nixon.
I've been promoted.
Or we've been demoted. Next time we'll have you start.
There's a little bit of both, honestly. I mean, it's kind of somewhere in the middle.
It's like being the founder and the CEO.
Yeah, that sounds better.
We don't want to be that.
No, God.
That sounds like a lot of work.
I'm excited for the weeks where I get to just all of a sudden in my inbox like, hey, here's the podcast for the week. Oh fuck yeah, let's upload that and be done. Where we really messed up was we should have sold this fucking thing when it was worth something. Because at some point it was probably worth something. Yeah,
I don't think it's probably worth that much anymore.
Well, I think right before what were we on before? Not SoundCloud.
Shout Engine.
Shout Engine. When we were on Shout Engine and those super inflated numbers, we should have sold right before that shut down.
Yeah.
Because then we got real numbers and then accurate data.
Yeah.
Because their numbers were so jacked
I mean, it's
up.
still not bad numbers.
No, they're good.
And those numbers were also very impressive, right? Right?
Yeah, they were actually impressive. I mean, they're so good, but like the Shout Engine numbers were really
considering
good.
the effort we put into this, they're pretty fucking good. But like, remember at Racers HQ?
Yeah.
When he sold that?
Oh, yeah, he did sell that.
Yeah, we should have sold our podcast too.
Yep, tack with it. No, I mean,
started another one.
Exactly.
10-pound test.
No.
I've already got a logo, Robbie. Thanks to Dusty.
We went fishing like 10 minutes ago. I'm already sick of it.
I caught a fish, and it was
I had a bite.
It was a little dink. Just a little bitty baby bass. Just a little bitty thing.
Yeah. Adam was like, "Oh, give me some more." Yeah.
He was super pumped about it. I'm just like, I'm getting bit by bugs. I'm sick of it.
I was like, "Oh yeah, caught a fish, Robbie. Look at me."
I think I was out there for 40 minutes, and then I'm like, I'm gonna go set up the podcast.
I don't know. Robbie's lake is interesting because like some days it's rocking, and some days it's dead.
This time of year is no good.
No, because we can't decide what temperature we want to be at, and the water is still a little cold.
Yeah, fish are not active.
Not yet, no.
It depends on how much traffic's been through the shipping channel in it.
Well, that's fair. At least nobody hit the bridge yet.
Not yet.
So.
Wow. Anyways.
I'm going to go fish that pond that's in the pasture over there.
Somebody actually came in and cut the fence.
Oh, yeah?
And then we're doing that. And then I posted in the on our neighborhood like Facebook group or whatever you want to call it. And I sent a picture. I was like,
there's cows in that fence.
I was like, was this cut on purpose by the, and like, sure enough, obviously it wasn't the owner that cut it.
No.
So I was like, so they went back and like put like a chain around it to make it be closed, and they haven't put, they're gonna sell it. They haven't had cattle on it in like 2 years. But,
oh, really? I thought that
they're gonna develop that so fast. I can't believe it's not developed already.
No, that's fair.
But yeah, like I walked back there one time. I was walking the dogs. I'm like, someone fucking cut that fence from top to bottom. Like they literally just snipped it so they could go fishing. It was you.
It was definitely not me. I didn't even realize it was that close until I was walking up the hill today, and I looked over. I was like, "Oh shit!"
Yeah, it's right there.
There's the water right there.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure no one would stop you if you just, now that the fence is open, you can just go through there.
Turns out there's another lake a little farther back too.
Where?
Back that way to the south here. There's another housing development, and there's another lake back there.
It's connected to this one?
No.
Oh, okay.
So like
double lakefront property?
No.
There's 3 solid lakes near Robbie.
Ponds. They're all ponds.
No, Robbie. This one has
farm ponds.
You live on Walnut Cove Lake, and then that one it does say Little Dipper Pond.
Yeah, which is like the same size as that one.
No, it's definitely not. Yours is easily twice the size of this one.
Yeah, little pond, and then this is like a normal size pond.
It's even called Little Dipper Pond on Google.
That's nice. Oh yeah, that's like a private.
Just like straight
that's like private. That's
there's like
3 houses
6 houses. Yeah, there's a few houses on it, and then the pond is just a pond. That's not anything because obviously it's just a pond. But yeah,
it has an island with a bridge to it. That's a
Robbie
lake, buddy.
There's an island with a bridge and a lighthouse.
It's all decorative.
It's to keep people from hitting the bridge when they're traveling through here.
You mean the dam?
No, the lighthouse is to keep people from hitting your bridge. when they go on Walnut Cove Island, Ravi. It's right there on Google.
This bridge
Walnut
does look a
Cove Island.
This bridge does look a lot like that one in Maryland.
Yeah,
it's
interesting.
Now that I zoom in a little bit,
it's significantly smaller. For the record, it's a very small footbridge.
Listen here, Robbie. We at 1010's podcast have never let facts get in the way of a good story.
Okay, well,
I mean, I don't know how far I'm zoomed in on this map.
There's a scale on the right bottom corner.
He's never seen it in person during the day.
Yes, he has.
I'm sure he didn't walk over the bridge.
I don't remember if he did.
I've walked over the bridge.
No, we did. We did.
Let me rephrase that. I've hiked over the bridge.
Son of a.
Did you take a day pack or did you?
Yeah. My son got real tired halfway through.
That was just walking down.
Well, yeah, it's so far to get from your house to the bridge because it's such a big
lake. Yeah.
It's one of the Iowa Great Lakes.
That's fair. Because the Great Lakes of Iowa suck.
That's too many people.
No, yeah, it's terrible. It's the worst.
Yeah.
But yeah. No, I don't have anything to talk about this week. I mean, I drove from Des Moines to Dayton, dropped the Z off, bullshitted with Joe for like 3 hours, left there, drove to Columbus, Indiana, not Ohio.
Right.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Yep.
There's no reason to go to Columbus, Ohio.
Nah, Columbus, Indiana, the real Columbus.
That sounds like a happening place.
Columbus, Georgia, not Columbus, Ohio.
Actually, it is because Columbus, Indiana, a fifth of the town works for Cummins.
Okay. Is that why you were there?
No.
Oh.
Like interviewing for a job?
Yeah.
No, not. No.
No.
But Robbie's gonna be leaving me soon.
But it's a super cool town because it's a shitload of hot rodders. So
yeah, but it's a bunch of diesel guys.
No, it isn't though. So okay. Anyway, so the reason I was there is because our buddy Jacob texted me out of the blue. Apparently, he had my number. I didn't have his. So I was really confused for a minute. He goes, "Hey, I mean, my phone number's never changed, so if you got it, it's the same one."
I mean, that's fair.
But I don't know why I didn't have his saved. But he said,
"For the record, I did not give it to him.
I don't care.
He didn't text me and ask me for your number.
I'm not worried about it.
So I would have given it to him without even asking him why. Don't get me wrong.
He's welcome to have it. I'm not mad about it.
Total strangers could text me and ask me for your phone number, and I'd probably give it to them without questioning it. That's not the point.
I've done that with your address a couple of times.
Yeah, you fucking deserve it, Robbie.
But they weren't strangers, for the record. But yeah, so Jacob texted me and said, "Hey, I got this buddy that has a VQ with a bad crank that's been sitting in his garage. He's going to scrap it. Do you want it for free?" And I'm like, "Yeah, of course I do." And I didn't even ask questions. I'm like, "Yeah, I'll just take it, whatever."
Yeah, I mean,
I told him, I was like, "I'll pick it up on my way back from Dayton next time I go."
What's the worst that could happen? You
tear it apart and scrap it for the aluminum.
Yeah,
whatever.
you make $8 in scrap.
Yeah,
who cares?
I'll save all the sensors and anything else that I want and scrap all the aluminum.
Yeah.
But yeah, so then I get there and as I'm getting like I'm pulling in, I was like, I should have asked like, is it a spun bearing? Like how bad?
Those are not important details.
How bad is this? He goes, yeah, they must. He said when he took it apart, they were changing the flex plate or something, and then the bolt broke off in the crank. I was like, oh, so it's legitimately a good engine.
What?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay,
it's a good engine.
What?
Yep.
Oh my gosh. Yep. Robbie's already got it fixed and ran it in on his run stand that he built over the weekend.
No.
It's got the big cams and the high top pistons in it. Yeah, it's ready to go.
I have a build sheet.
It's ready to spin to 10,000 RPM already.
I have a build sheet for a 9,000 RPM VQ. Yes. I haven't purchased all the stuff yet.
How much of that stuff comes from Jim Wolfe?
The cams.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah.
Joe may or may not have a account with them. It's fine.
What about Cosworth?
I'm sure we can make some phone calls. Oh, there's a Cosworth VQ on eBay right now.
Oh, it'd be so good, Robbie.
I think it's just a short block for $8K.
Oof. Problem is you need another like $6K for their ITBs.
Yeah. So loaded that up. Again, needed a lot of help because 3 weeks after hernia surgery, I probably shouldn't be lifting engines on my own.
Jesus Christ, Robbie.
Luckily, he had a lift and I had a dolly, so we just kind of didn't put any effort in. Got
Right.
it strapped into the corner of the trailer. And then he was like, we should get some food. And I was like, okay. Like, yeah, it's getting kind of like, it's almost dark already. I'm like, I kind of want to get most of the way home tonight.
Right.
He's like, okay, we'll do Waffle House.
I mean,
this guy gets it.
You had me at Waffle House.
This guy gets it, man.
He's a listener. He must be a listener.
Yep.
Jacob and I ate at Waffle House as well when we went to PRI together. So
Yep. So
it's a thing.
But like, when we're sitting there and we're eating, and like, it's just hot rod. I'm like, dude, like, was there like a car show or something going on? No, dude. It's like this every day. He goes, when I like, for the first week, I would just like car spot, and now I don't. It doesn't even faze me anymore. It's a town full of hot rodders. It's crazy.
Huh.
It's just everyone works at Cummins,
So he is moving to Columbus, Indiana. Where's Columbus, Indiana?
like 40 miles south of Indianapolis, roughly.
Oh, that's not even like that bad.
No, and he was like, "Yo, it really sucks because it like barely snowed this winter. I'm like, it never got below 10."
Oh yeah, it sucks
Yeah.
so bad, Robbie.
I was
It's
like,
the worst.
You and I have different definitions of sucking during the winter.
He
So,
did text me recently about his and said something, complained something about his lack of
winter.
winter, and I was like, I'm not following.
We're different on that.
So it's also right next to like this huge like forested state park
Neat.
that can only.
Can you imagine the fishing?
Well, what I was thinking actually, because this is a car podcast,
Why?
allegedly, is that rarely do giant forested areas not have good roads.
Yeah, that's fair.
They're never straight.
No. Long, curvy roads would be great.
Yeah.
Yeah, then
For all the streetcars you own.
I'll have you know.
All the fun streetcars.
I really enjoy that Sonic. I fucking love my Sonic.
Robbie, you have no idea how happy that makes me.
Like I was catching up on all my podcasts while I was driving.
Uh-huh.
I'm in my car alone by myself for 20 straight hours, basically. And so there's the episode where you're talking to Jabay and he's trying to tell you about how great the CRX is, and you're like, no, it needs to be sporty, it needs to have a turbo, it needs to be 6-speed. I'm like a Sonic.
I'm really surprised I didn't get any more backlash over those comments. Honestly, I made them to piss people off because I don't think the CRX is not sporty.
No, of course it is, but
but I wanted a newer car,
I get that.
not a fucking early 90s CRX.
I understand.
I wanted a newer car.
No, that was,
I probably should have bought a CRX, turns out.
yeah, but whatever.
But,
But even better, I bought a Sonic.
that episode is probably the second highest number of people who have messaged me out of the blue to talk about things.
Yeah. Oh, and if you don't know what we're talking about, go to the Slip
Go to
Angle,
Slip Angle and listen to my
podcast.
almost 2-hour podcast about my former life as a stereo fanatic that we've talked almost none about on this podcast.
No, we really haven't, which is shocking.
I don't know. I just never did.
Well, I enjoy it.
Jabay saying in the middle of that discussion that this must be what his wife feels like whenever he talks to her about car stuff. I'm still laughing a week and a half later over that.
Yeah, that was good. I really enjoyed that podcast.
Yeah. Race car things. So that was like one of the longest podcasts they've ever done. It was just me rambling about car stereo
Yeah, it was
stuff,
just a
and
stamp.
Jabay just being like, "What?"
Jabay
What?
being incredulous.
I'm shocked he's not been involved in that at some point in his life.
Or at least had friends that were into it.
Right. Like that he has
adjacent.
been so like sheltered from that through his life. So
Yeah, I was into it enough in high school that I knew the extent that people would go to for competition stuff, but I never went to a show or anything like that. But it was you were still opening my eyes on things too.
oh man, and we didn't even cover like
Half of it.
I mean, it's just a drop in the bucket.
No, that was the most enjoyable part of my drive. Was that episode? It was good. I appreciated it.
I genuinely want nothing more than to build stereo cars right now.
You should do it. Yeah. Then we can talk about it on the show all the time.
I need a car that would work with that. I don't know what I'm going to do yet.
Your Blazer.
No, I hate that thing. I want it gone.
You could fill it with cement. It'd be fine.
I don't want it.
You should fill it with cement.
I mean, if I had to build a stereo vehicle out of the things I own right now, it would probably be that over the Odyssey.
There's more room in the Odyssey.
Yeah, but I don't want that Odyssey.
You fill it with cement.
I genuinely hate that vehicle.
Then you could fill it with cement and feel good about
and
it.
put it in the bottom of a lake to make fish structure out of it. I'm in.
We did that with a bunch of trees not too long ago. We could do it again.
I'm well aware, Robbie.
What better way to remind
those trees have only cost me like $50 fucking, Robbie.
That's your fault for buying expensive lures.
They're not that expensive.
If it was really a lake, it'd be deep.
Yeah,
if it was really a lake, it'd be deep enough you wouldn't have to worry about it.
Robbie, first of all, there are plenty of baits that would get down to the bottom of that regardless. They're called deep diving crankbaits, and if you put enough weight on the front end of even a soft plastic, it'll end up down there. And secondly, all lakes have shallow areas too, Robbie.
6th order band pass. Fishing hooks.
We didn't even talk about.
That's
we didn't
where
even
we're
talk
headed.
about 8th order band passes, or aperiodic bichambers.
Yep.
Or passive radiator systems.
I looked up the diagram some of the different diagrams for band pass boxes, and I just don't understand.
Oh, it's so good. I want to start a stereo podcast, car stereo podcast. That sounds way better.
That's fine. You can start it on episode 340. I don't care.
Let's do it, Robbie.
I'm fine. I don't care. Who's going to stop us?
I want to build a thing again.
Please do it.
Yeah.
I want all of the listeners to encourage.
I have decided this was not a thing I thought I was going to talk about, but I have decided after looking long and hard at the S10 that I have,
yes,
that it is too rusty to like
save.
No. It's not nearly that bad, but it's too rusty to like throw a bunch of money at it.
Oh yeah,
because I mean it's got the cab corners are eaten out of it, and like it's by no means in bad condition, but the frame has some rust on the underside of it's got some rust on it. The cab corners have been eaten away pretty badly, and like it would cost me a whole bunch of money in body work that I don't have a good way to do.
Yeah,
to get it fixed up to the point where I feel like, yeah, let's put some money in the engine in this thing and like do some fun stuff with it. So I think what I'm going to do is just put a
basic
base, or just put another 2.2 in it and get it running again, pull the turbo kit off of it.
Yeah.
And just like drive it.
I like it. That's a great fishing vehicle.
But the problem is if I turn it into a stereo vehicle, I can't use it to haul my fishing rods.
That's what the Odyssey or the Blazer is.
No, those have both got to go in order to drive the funds to buy the motor and put the truck back together.
Oh.
Also, I'm trying to thin the herd.
I get that. Well, I don't get that because I refuse to sell anything. But that's a whole different conversation.
The Omni would be a great stereo vehicle too, but I feel like that's
blasphemy.
Not where I want to go with it.
Agreed.
Yeah, it's a waste.
Yeah.
It's too cool the way it is. What I'm terrified of is if I got it running and then drove it again, that I would fall in love with it all over again and not be able to sell it. Not that I'm like
just like last time.
Not that I'm like trying to sell it yet or anything like that, but like I feel like that's what's going to happen.
That's exactly what will happen.
And then I'm not going to build a stereo car.
Yes, that's exactly what will happen. Dude, the second that thing runs for like 13 seconds, you're like, "This is the best car ever."
Why am I
sell it.
Why am I so ADD about stuff? Why can't I?
The worst part is when all those fishing rods just go and collect dust in your garage when you get all your stereo equipment back out, or fall in love with your Omni again.
I mean, I doubt that's going to happen. They're not going to collect dust.
You need a single 15 and a rack to carry the fishing equipment.
He
on
has
the
15
Omni
already.
It needs rebuilt, but yeah, I do. I really wanted to recone it to a 21 because there's a company that makes 21-inch baskets.
That's huge.
It's huge, Rob. It's so good. I'd love it so much.
You should do that.
The problem is that like at 21 inches is literally taller than my bed in my S10. I would have to like build a weird box that like where it lays at an angle.
Oh.
And it would be really hard to do.
That's why you need to get rid of
Or put a camper shell on it.
Or put it in the Blazer.
Shell on it.
Yeah.
No, I don't want the Blazer. I don't like that thing.
Why? Because it's so painfully reliable?
No, because honestly, like for as big as it is, it's tiny.
That's fair.
Like it's not big enough.
It's literally the opposite of a Honda Fit or a Scion XB.
Like it's not big enough to be useful, but it's too big to be like, oh, this is a fun little thing.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Like if it was a 2-door, it might even be better, but it's a 4-door and it's kind of lame and I don't like it. And that 4L60 that I put in it is also probably not in the best condition.
Happens.
It makes really weird noises when you're stopped in drive.
So just don't stop.
Yeah.
So I just
like
put
a shark.
I just put it in neutral.
Huh.
So, like if you're stopped at a stoplight and you've got very little brake pressure, you're just kind of creeping, and you'll hear that like noise as the brake rotors go through the brake pads.
Yeah.
Like just, you're like,
like
that kind of
it's like a screech
creaking.
almost. Yeah.
It sounds like that
From your transmission.
from the transmission.
What's your fluid levels like?
It's where it should be.
Okay. That's where I would start looking.
I've checked it.
Okay.
It's where it should be. But it's a 4L60, Robbie. So, like, even if it's good, it's bad.
That's fair. It's never great.
Right. And so I don't want it.
Don't
But
add us
also,
house.
like,
We're having a fire sale.
I need like a truck to be able to do homeowner things.
I understand.
Like, I don't have anywhere to get rid of my leaves,
Which there are plenty of.
which I have way too many of.
Yep.
And I can't burn them where I live
Yeah. that would
easily.
suck. Yeah. Do it slowly and
Right.
Yeah, it's a whole deal.
Take way too long. It's too much work.
No, it's one big fire.
Right. But I don't have any way to transport them to like a place because I'm not going to put them in the back of my Blazer or my Odyssey
No.
or my Pacifica. I need a small pickup.
Everyone needs a small pickup.
But if I cut a hole in the back of the cab and the front of the bed and put a giant stereo box in it, I still don't have a small pickup. Now I just have a rolling stereo box again.
You need 2 small pickups.
I know, but then I need to sell the Omni,
That's
and
fine.
I'm not going to sell it broken.
I understand.
Because I already own all the parts to fix it, and it's worth way more running than it is broken.
Let's fix it.
So it would be stupid not for me to fix it. But if I fix it, I'm going to fall in love with it all over again, Robbie, and I'm not going to want to sell it.
All right, here's where I'm at. My shop is empty right now. I can hook up the truck and trailer. We go
No.
get it. We go get it.
No,
We
I just
fix
need
it.
to work on
By the
it.
time the Z comes back, we fix it. And you can drive it home from there and then decide.
I can't get it out of that driveway right now.
With enough can-do attitude, we can
No,
get
the
it out.
Odyssey's in the way.
I can move that
I
out.
ordered the parts for the Odyssey.
Of
course, they won't be here by this weekend, so I can't work on it this weekend. But I did order the parts for the Odyssey,
Nice. Yeah, see, it's ready to move. It'll be fine.
so I got to get rid of that. I got to get a tire or a wheel for it still.
They sell those everywhere.
Yeah, I figured I'd just go down to the junkyard and get a wheel. Like, I don't even care if it's the same as the other 4.
No, it just needs
or the
to-
other 3,
just
as
needs to
long as
roll.
it's an Odyssey wheel.
Right.
Just needs to go on there.
Yeah, we can have this
It
knocked
doesn't
out
even
in
need to
a
be
day.
a good tire because the other 3 are bad.
It's fine.
It needed tires, and then it was like, nah, bro, you don't need to put tires on me. I'm gonna fucking die. Cool, thanks.
Happens.
So,
Anyways, yeah, so we got a plan in place for your stuff
yeah, I'm
to
not
get
gonna,
you back into
I'm not gonna
stereo.
do any of it though. So, Dusty,
Speaking of trucks, small trucks.
small trucks, S10 chassis things.
Smallest trucks. Yeah.
How badly did you get beat by an S10 that looks like a Scout this weekend?
So technically I didn't. My dad drove this weekend. So we went.
That's like passing the buck right there. Did you
No,
hear that?
I
He was
thought-
like, technically,
you know.
I didn't get beat by anything. It's my dad who sucks at driving.
I thought we were a team here, but whatever.
we
Technically,
we win as a
everybody got-
team.
We lose.
We lose as an individual, Robbie.
We did exactly what we were planning to do, which is
sorry,
we
Paul.
went and had fun and got to see a bunch of cool trucks.
I
So,
mean, that's fair.
That's better than the way I do.
And
it.
your truck looks the part.
no, I think it's capable. We'll continue to sharpen the blade on it.
Hone
some,
your
but-
craft.
so, yeah. We went to Bowling Green, Kentucky, to the Pro-Touring Truck Shootout. So they've been doing this. This is the 6th year of it. And they do it at Beach Bend Raceway, which is super cool. It was kind of half the reason I wanted to go because that's where they have LS Fest East. And it is like this place has been a park in some form since the 1880s. And since the 1940s, like immediately post-war, there has been a circle track there that was the circle track that we did autocross on. It started out as it's like 3/8 or smaller oval. Started out as a dirt track, and they paved it at some point. It's like the whole thing is paved, so they're able to do autocross and drifting and stuff in it. And then the drag strip has been there since the 50s, and it's got covered bleachers on each side, and like super old, like individual like seats on the spectator side.
There's nothing cooler, like atmosphere wise, than a drag strip that's been there since the 50s.
Yes.
Just a racetrack in general, because like
The drag strips are extra special for some reason.
that's just nostalgia for you.
Well, no, because it seems like road courses that have lasted that long are because they're pro courses. And so they update facilities because they have to, but drag strips usually aren't. And so they don't have to.
Fair.
And so they're just cooler.
Yeah. Well, it was like in Colorado when we stumbled onto that abandoned old circle track, whatever. It wasn't even dirt. It was like a cement or clay oval.
Right.
Yeah, it was like in like the 20s and 30s, and it kind of looked like this, with like everything was still there and just rotting away.
Yeah. But this is an active drag strip, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
Like, do people sit in those seats?
Yes, yeah. Is so like they do. NHRA
so
does.
Crazy.
It used to be called the Hot Rod Reunion. Now it's called like the Nostalgia Nationals or something like that. But like they pack this place, and it's all like gassers and old nostalgia funny cars and front engine dragsters and stuff.
That sounds awesome.
That would be super cool.
I so want to go back there and see that stuff.
Let's
in that
go.
place.
I'll take my dad and we'll go.
Yeah.
We'll meet you and your dad there. It'll be a great weekend.
So it's one of those places where whenever you walk in to the entrance to the bleachers, like you see ghosts. Like it is just such a cool place.
Yeah.
But
either Robbie's getting a package or his wife just got home.
Pretty sure she just got home.
His dog is losing his mind.
So the event itself is it's Optima-esque. It is autocross, speed stop, and since they're at a drag strip, they added drag racing into it. Cumulative time wins, split up into like 5 classes from T3, which is like just a lowered, basically stock truck, all the way up to Outlaw, which is like 3,000 pound minimum, no maximum horsepower. You can alter wheelbase. You can do like all kinds of different stuff, aero and everything else. So, it's like the field was mostly 67 to 72 Chevy trucks, which is like, that's whenever we found my truck, like whenever we started looking for old trucks, that's what I wanted. And then we ended up with the 63, which I've come to love because it's like weird and quirky and has all these different things about it.
Because it's not the same as every other truck there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So 67 to 72s are like the cool, like it is just the best looking truck like ever made in my mind.
I don't know, man. I really like the way your truck looks.
Yeah, I love your truck.
I like the older ones better than the newer C10s.
You know, like the thing I always liked about it whenever I was a kid was it's a 60s and 70s design, but you can see like the trucks that were new whenever I was a kid, like you can see the elements of that truck from 30 years ago in a mid 90s Chevy truck, like the general shape and everything like carried through. That was the first like really modern looking truck. And the 60 to 66 is this like weird, it's this in between of, you can see elements from the 50s trucks and the 70s trucks, like all kind of mashed together in this weird thing that doesn't really fit either one of them. And it's become my thing because like it's just kind of an oddball, especially.
But I like that it has like a body line and stuff, and I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah,
I like it.
So ours, there was several 64, 5 or 6. Ours was the only early one that has the big wraparound windshield. And then like, I think the only truck that was competing that was older than ours was a like 47 to 50 model Chevy, big fat fender, narrow, tall cab.
Yeah.
That had a ton of suspension work done to it. And I think he was just getting it out. So he was having a wild ride every run on the autocross, but.
Yeah.
So yeah, we drove up there in the pouring rain basically the entire time, which is always fun when you're pulling a trailer. And I've got a picture in there of this tiny Toyota like motorhome key truck kind of thing. We passed these people. They were doing like 62 miles per hour down the highway, and I'm pretty sure it was a husband and wife. And I was like, you guys want this way worse than I do.
They are only going to be a husband and wife for a short period of time.
Where do you even get one of those?
It was right-hand drive.
Japan.
The thing was imported, yeah.
Neat.
But yeah, super tiny tires. Running highway speed in the rain. It was white stripe, yellow stripe, white stripe, yellow stripe. It was. They were having a good old time.
He's constantly trying to talk her into. Oh, no, it's fine.
It's fine.
We're safe.
I think she was actually driving it.
Oh, really?
That explains a lot.
All right,
there
never
we go.
mind then. He's fine. He'll be all right.
But yeah, so we passed them on the highway, and then we stopped to get gas like a decent amount of time later, and they pulled in right like not long after we did. I was like, all right, like they're making progress. So
Jesus Christ, I'm not that dedicated to anything. I guess
Not really. No.
that seems awful because
So, yeah,
it's gotta be terrifying. And then like once you get somewhere,
You're
like
exhausted.
and there's like 4 cubic feet of space to live inside that.
yeah, it looks like you might be able to lay with your feet at the back door and like mostly fit your head in before the back of the seats in the cab.
Why don't we just get a 15-passenger van and just strip the seats out?
Yeah.
There's some questions there too.
You know they're sleeping on like a pull-out couch with a 3-inch thick mattress.
Yeah.
And then the next morning when they wake up, their back is sore.
That's probably sore before you even laid down, I bet.
It's just awful. I'm not that dedicated to
But it's
anything.
also like awesome.
We told Logan that we're probably going to get a tent and go camping or sleep in a tent at Road America.
Oh, yeah.
And that has turned into him thinking that we're going to buy a tent and go camping.
No.
And I'm like,
just
I don't-
borrow the tent we got.
I don't know, bro. I'm not sure that that's what we're going to do.
I said you use that gigantic one we bought for the podcast.
Do you still have that?
Oh, of course.
Oh.
I'll throw anything away.
I thought Michael had that.
No. He left it with me.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, you can borrow it.
Yeah.
It's like
We
a
might-
9-person tent. It's huge.
We were thinking about, like, because he really wants to go tent camping.
Yeah, use that one, man.
So I was like, well, there's a campground at a lake like 6 miles from our house. So, like, we can go to that. And when everybody's like, all right, this blows, we can just go home. And I'll go get the tent the next day. It's fine.
That sounds perfect.
So that we might do that. But anyway, race trucks.
So yeah, we get up there, go through tech. They I guess they've had controversy in the past over weight and over modifications done to trucks and where they fit in classes, because I was told from a friend who, I don't know if he's been up there, but he's got a friend that had run, that he had gotten bumped up a spot in post event tech multiple times there in the
Post-event
past.
tech?
It's like they get
So they
screwed
bring
after the fact.
Shouldn't they figure that out before they start the event?
Isn't the whole point of tech and scrutiny?
Well, so they didn't apparently used to weigh in before, and then whenever they weighed in afterwards, they figured out that some people might have been either ignorant of the rules or outright skirting the rules. But yeah, so we're in tech for like 20 minutes.
I suppose they probably only weighed the trucks that did well enough to matter.
Yeah,
right.
And so they did
pull-
it after the event to save themselves time.
Yeah, they pull the top 3. So the format for autocross, it's like, it was supposed to be like a half day of practice, and then they do it shootout style. So you do random chip draw, and then go up, and it's one run. Whoever's faster moves on, and then come back up, do chip draw again until you get a winner. So after they did the shootout, which So it was supposed to be like practice Friday morning and then shoot out at 2:30 that afternoon. But it went from being nice and sunny and windy to being rainy and cold and windy in the middle of the afternoon. So they pushed the shootout to Saturday. So we roll in cold on Saturday morning after he made probably 20. He probably did 20 runs, 20 to 25 runs.
My gosh, that's
Friday.
crazy.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever done that many runs in a day.
Yeah. So they had it split up, like 2 classes were in one group and everybody else was in the other, and they were just doing it by hour. So
yeah.
So yeah, he'd go up for an hour and make like at least 6 or 7 runs. And so
sounds awesome.
Yeah, it was super. I was wicked jealous. Like this, and the course was wild. So you started off on like the entry road, which backed up to the drag strip on one corner of it. And then it's like a straight run down, an offset. And then you like drop down and go through the banking of turn 1 and 2, and then come in and like do a loop and then cross back over where you came out, or it came off of the banking, and then run through a fairly fast offset through the middle, and then like 2 tight 180s to get back onto the banking for turn 4 and then turn 3, and then into the finish and next to like the gate and the back straight where you could get back out. And it's like
elevation change and
fun.
like off camber corners in an autocross. Like, get out of here.
Well, so the only elevation was really in the
Right,
bank
dropping
turns.
into
like
the
you
bank.
were,
But still, like that's not. I mean, normally you're on a flat parking lot. Like nothing changes. Your elevation changes a pothole.
Well, see, and we're not used to a flat parking lot anymore because the only place we have to run here is a horse track that has a gigantic parking lot that has like 2 crests in it.
Oh.
So like we're used to running these big, crazy 65, 70 mile per hour courses that like the tightest thing we do will be the bottom of second. Well, this thing was first gear all the way with 370 gears in the truck. And then the last 2 like tight little corners on it, like the truck is going like low RPM in first gear. And we figured out.
Is that a T56?
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Yeah. So figured out very quickly that like we knew that so we've got a Holley front drive set up on it that came with power steering pump, AC compressor and all that stuff. Figured out fairly quickly. We knew that like at low speed in parking lots, the power steering pump was not like super happy about this 3,500 pound truck with 315s on the front and a crap load of caster and camber. And then, yeah, slow speed, tight 180, back to tight 180 on an autocross. It got super pissed.
Hello, turn 1. I need a power steering pump.
Yeah. So he, one of the times that he had several runs that ended up being fairly quick back to back, he pulled over back over to the trailer. And he said whenever he opened the cap on the reservoir, smoke was coming out.
Oh, my gosh.
That sounds right.
Robbie's been there.
Been there. Done that.
And this was like good, like KRC, like racing power steering fluid, too. Like it's what we've run in the Camaro forever. So
yeah,
you guys need some Lucas oil stabilizer right here.
Oh, yeah.
There's just not enough that you can do to keep those cool. Those OEM ones are just no good in that scenario.
So I did get over and talk to turn 1, and like whenever I said Holley front drive setup and truck with 315s on it, he was like, "Yep, we can fix that."
They were there.
Yeah, they were. So there was.
They know their market.
Oh yeah,
yeah. So they had a good. One that it's centralized enough. I think a lot of those companies are fairly close by because like Forge Line, there's a Chevy like aftermarket performance group called Gandrud Chevrolet that was the title sponsor. Like they all had like nice, small setups, but it was cool because like, I just walked down to the turn 1 guys and was like, so he's like, yeah, we'll get you fixed up. He said that the pump that comes in the Holley, like on a good day, screaming its guts out is putting 1,200 PSI out. He said, we'll build you one that'll put out 1800 all day, and we do modifications to the inside to where it doesn't heat up the fluid, doesn't take as much horsepower to pull it, and it'll keep the fluid cooler and give you all the power that you need for the rack. So
it's literally better in every way.
Yeah, they're expensive, but they're worth every penny.
Yeah, it's only money, right?
Yeah,
you make more of it every day,
Yeah,
and you can't take it with you,
exactly.
So it's fine.
Yep.
What else do you get spent it on? Drugs?
Hookers. I mean,
Your kids?
Fine dining?
Forget that. Yeah.
No.
Sushi.
You'll have it.
Okay. Stop right there.
So yeah,
Stop right there.
There's a tough one.
Medium well done tuna
Stop
steaks.
it. You stop it. Just burning your tuna. It's ridiculous.
115 degrees is not that hot, Robbie. It was still
It needs to be. It doesn't even need to be room temperature. It can be cold.
no, Robbie.
Just here's
It
how
was
you
a
cook it.
delicious tuna steak.
Here's
by
how
the
you
way.
take a tuna
I
steak.
enjoyed every bite of it.
You take it cold, slap it on the grill, flip it over,
Yeah.
and then you eat it.
I was reading through, like, it's amazing how many different people have different ways to make a tuna steak on a grill.
Which is weird because there's only one way.
There were a bunch of them who were like 20 to 30 seconds on each side. And I was like, nah, bro, that's not where I'm at.
You're right. That's too long.
Nope. I stuck that temperature probe in there right in the middle.
This isn't chicken.
And I cooked it to 115 degrees.
In your smoker for like 3.5 hours?
No, it was in my smoker for like 25 minutes.
That's so long.
It was so good.
This isn't salmon, Adam.
It's so sweet
Robbie's.
and delicious.
Robbie's only requirement is, are the gills still flapping?
Yeah, if it's not jumping off my plate, it's fine.
No, Robbie.
Fish is not supposed to be cooked. It's just,
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
Ugh, gross. No, I didn't catch a tuna. I bought it, store bought it, even though I literally caught fish the same day that I bought the tuna. Like big fish that would have made delicious meals. I threw it right back in the water. Anyway.
Yeah, turn one.
How many like trucks are in this event?
I think they had
is
like
this a
60 total.
60?
Pretty good.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's like a great turnout or not, I guess.
So it's pretty regional. Everybody that we told we were up from Texas, they looked at us kind of like we were crazy, but it was like I've been seeing this event going on, and
I
like,
literally
told
didn't think twice about that.
No, not at all.
That never crossed my mind. That
Yeah, no.
would be an unreasonable distance to travel for an event.
No. I mean,
Which really says a lot about us, I guess.
Yeah.
for the potential places that we could take that truck, that's actually one of the closer ones. So because Texas is a giant gaping hole in most people's event schedule. So
Yeah.
Figuratively and literally, a giant hole.
No, I've been in the SCCA meeting, like we're talking about like planning for stuff, and then like they'll be talking about autocross, and they're like, yeah, we don't really want to travel that far. And they're literally talking like 40 minutes, and I'm like, yeah, our closest event's like 4 hours away.
Yes, but there's a huge difference there for like a local autocross
I know.
versus something like this.
Nope.
Like for a
driving
local
an hour and
autocross, I don't want to drive more than 45 minutes either, which is a real problem because I live 45 minutes
From Des Moines.
minimum from anything that even resembles a decent autocross course.
Nope. No,
when driving, like we have a Pro Solo and a National Tour event here. It's 5 hours away from me because it's down along the coast. And I look at it, it's $175 to enter it. For a National Tour event, I'm going to run 3 times on Saturday and 3 times on Sunday. And that's it. And I'm going to work course for an hour and a half to 2 hours. And then I'm going to go home. I'm like, I'm going to pay $250 and go an hour away and drive for literally 2 hours of actual track time on track with one of the DE groups here. Like, y'all are crazy.
I used to think that it was so weird going to our Good Guys event here in Des Moines and seeing how many cars were there that I had never seen in an autocross before that had Des Moines as their hometown listed on the little sticker they put in their car.
Oh, sure.
And they're like pretty well set up cars for autocross stuff. And I used to think like, why don't you just bring the car to an autocross event? But like, the longer I've been around this stuff, and I haven't autocrossed in years and years and years at this point, but like, I kind of get it now. And I even like course working.
Yeah, for sure.
I actually genuinely enjoyed it because it's as much spectating racing as anything for me. And I enjoy, but I also like watching time attack, so I'm a fucking weirdo. So
I didn't mind autocross nearly as much whenever I got in good with the worker chief from SCCA and I got to announce. So I just got to sit in the air conditioned trailer and just say times.
Yeah, that'd be
have
a little easier than standing out in the
run
Texas
around
sun.
and chase cones or herd people around in grid or anything like that. So, but
yeah.
So we ended up our class because we boxed the frame. So our truck is like aftermarket suspension, front and rear, still full interior, still full bed and everything. But because we boxed the stock chassis, it put us into the T1 class, which was just under the outlaw class.
I assume you have a C notch and stuff like that in there.
Yeah, it's a C notch with just a like an insert panel in
Is
the
it
bed
a 4-link?
Is it what?
Is it a
So
4-link?
it's a 3-link.
A 3-link? Okay.
So we used No Limit Engineering. We used their front end, so it's like a bolt-in cross member that we welded in and then boxed all the frame. And then
Right.
he does a 4-link for it. So we used his rear link mounts on the rear end and the chassis, and then we used the lower links, and then we turned just did the top one as a single on the rear end housing to do it as a 3-link. So we've got pretty wide range of anti-squat control and just a lot more tunability than what the 4-link is. Now, whether we know how to use it or not is another question, but
Yeah, it might actually be a bad thing. Sometimes more adjustment is worse.
yeah. So we managed the last time that we took it out locally that I drove it, the thing was like drift car spec, like through a corner, you just breathe on the throttle and it is rotating like mad.
Hell yeah, bro.
Okay. Yeah.
Did you run into a wall and stuff like that?
No, not quite.
Oh, well.
So
You didn't get the experience then.
So he ended up like changing that to soften up anti-squat quite a bit on it. He said it felt a good amount better. And then we just keep, every time we take it out, we come back and we put more spring on the front of it just to keep like creeping up on it. But just like we knew we were coming into this in the class that we were in, like pretty outgunned for the amount of stuff that we were going to be running against in that class. This is like full aftermarket chassis. So most of what was in that class. So the old show on Speed Channel, Are You Faster Than a Redneck?
Hell yeah. Great show. It's on YouTube. If you've never seen it, fix that.
Yes. So one of the main guys that was on there that I think it was like his second gen Camaro that they used some was Brian Finch.
Uh-huh.
So Finch is the one that is like running the autocross and the speed stop. He's the one that brought all the cones and the timing and everything. And then he's got like, they rolled in with like 7 or 8 trucks that they drove up from Tennessee from his place, which is like, it's a little over an hour. So it's not like a huge thing, but they also drive these trucks like cross country. Like they do power tour with them and autocross the crap out of them every day and then drive them, 300-400 miles, whatever. So all of these trucks, they like sit super low. They've all got forge lines on them with big fat lips on them. And
335 square and
335 rivals front and rear because he's a BFG guy. And like these guys drive the crap out of them. So that was most of what was in our class, is these trucks that are like super sorted out with this like proven chassis that he builds underneath them. So it's like, okay, we're going to have fun this weekend. Like we'll do our thing and just keep finding time, which is what he did. I was super happy for him. We kept just like getting a little bit more aggressive. And then like Saturday afternoon, he had never been able to do, or I guess he did. He's done a speed stop at LS Fest before, but it was in my mom's like stock Camaro. So the speed stop for this is 2 lanes. It was run mirrored like what Optima does, and arm drop. Both trucks take off, and then they turn out, do a 90-degree or do a 180-degree turn, and then come back and stop in the box. And he was giddy like a little kid.
I feel like that would be an interesting challenge.
I would have flat spotted tires. All of them.
Well, you have ABS and traction control, obviously you'll be fine.
That's true. But if I didn't.
Right, yeah.
Like the last time I autocrossed, they had a stop box.
I've never had a genuine
I just
stop box.
Slammed on the brakes, smoke screen, right through the box. Totally forgot about it.
I wanted one, and I tried to talk him into it. But the answer I got for the most part was like, if we make a genuine stop box where the timing equipment is right there, there's going to be way too many people mowing over cones. We're going to spend too much time fixing them, and we'll never get we won't get as many runs as we should because we spent all this time.
And they're right.
Yeah. And I was like, okay, fine.
Well, you got to be careful on an autocross that you don't have like some kind of offset coming into it where you're crossed up, because then people will go through it backwards.
Yeah,
that's it. Yep, I've seen that happen. Yeah,
I've seen guys on the Optima one, and it's always pretty much straight coming into it. And I've still seen guys go through it backwards. So
the two things I really wanted in an autocross was a stop box like that and a roundabout.
You're kind of a monster.
Where you actually had you would go through it, and then you have to like go all the way around to the third exit and then take that, and then you'll come back a different way. Like I wanted a full-fledged roundabout, like a full-sized balls to the wall, let's go through this thing as fast as we can roundabout.
I've done one where it was a perfect circle element in it that you had to make one full rotation and then come out of it. And it's hard, like it's freaky because you end up just needing to like focus like dead center in the middle of it, and then just manage throttle, because it's essentially just a skid pad at that point. And it threw everybody for a loop, literally and figuratively. But
that's why I always loved offset cone slaloms, especially if you get to choose your own adventure on which side you enter. It's the best, Robbie. Offset slaloms are the best autocross feature you can have. I said it. I loved them. They were the most fun.
Have you ever heard the story of the Chicago box?
No.
I don't think so.
I mean, I know what a Chicago box is. I don't.
So Chicago box is basically just a 3-cone slalom.
Yeah.
With a bunch of other crap there to distract you.
Yep.
So the story behind that, at nationals every year, they would have a different club would come in and set up the course. And so the Chicago region club, the reason it's called the Chicago box is they devised this thing, and then they practiced it like all season leading up to nationals.
Oh, that's cheating.
Over Labor Day.
That's cheating. That's illegal.
And they come out and throw this at people, and people were losing their minds. They couldn't figure out how to do it because the box was so distracting. And like,
what are we supposed to do with this? Drive it like a slalom, asshole.
Yeah.
That's how you're supposed to do it.
So like everybody from the Chicago region got a jacket that year because this course had like 2 of these things on it and nobody could figure it out. So
that's hilarious.
That's the story that I was told, at least. So never let facts get in the way.
No, that is how it went down.
It's on a podcast. There's no disputing it. Spread the word, people. Dusty Nixon told me.
Yeah.
That
somebody in the North Texas region of autocross people told me. So,
Nope. That's not an important qualifier.
Not at all.
So other interesting things. So from our side of it, I did a couple of, so there was a drivability cruise also. So like another thing that was like Optima, except that this thing was like 40 minutes each way, where normally ours was like 30 minutes total, but it was good roads and everything. So it was cool.
So we just like drive somewhere, get ice cream, and come back?
Yeah, basically. So they had the bottom of the like driver credential card thing had 3 little tickets on it. So you get 1 ticket pulled off whenever you leave the track. You get 1 ticket pulled off whenever you're at. So there was a high school that their auto shop class had 2 different trucks running in the competition. So we drove down to their school, and there was some people just sitting out on lawn chairs to watch the crews as it come through. So that was cool. So yeah, truck did great on that. It's super docile and rides great. And it's just like, it's everything that I was hoping that we could do with it.
Is what he's saying. It's like,
don't worry, the Camaro will be stupid against.
Are you telling me that it doesn't take 15 minutes to explain to somebody how to drive your truck? You just hand them the keys and tell them to go have fun with it?
Nope. If it's warm, you got to give it a little bit of throttle for it to start. That's the only thing. There's still some tuning work to be done on the hot start in the EFI, but
all wrong.
The only issue with it was we filled it to the brim, and it was between a quarter and a half by the time we came back.
Oh yeah,
she's a little bit thirsty, but
you'll have that.
Happens.
So yeah, after we got back Friday night, we ate dinner. They did dinner for all the competitors and plus ones, and then the drag strip was open, so I went and made 2 drag strip passes because why not?
Yes. Why wouldn't you?
So what's it do?
So my 2, I think mine was the best. Was a 1361 with like a 230 or 225 60 foot because it's on AO52s.
Ouch.
Yeah. At 106 or 107.
Just so you know, that's awful. It's fine.
Yes.
It's fine.
Yes. So he went back on Saturday because it warmed up quite a bit and was actually, I don't remember what he got into the 2 teens, I think, 60 foot.
Okay.
But we kept like, I think our clutch, like, I don't think we've got enough travel on the pedal. So at high RPM, it's not fully disengaging and it is a bitch and a half to shift. So like basically the only way you could do it was Vin Diesel granny shifting. And so that wasn't helping things. And then also, so it sits like basically level. So the bumper is higher off the ground than the rest of the truck just because of the way.
Why is there a thumbs up that just popped up on his screen?
He did it, not me.
Oh, okay. I don't know. Doesn't matter.
This thumbs up?
No, there was a there.
Yeah, right there.
I don't know.
Oh.
Audio podcast.
Weird.
It's fine. Don't worry about it.
Say it again. Like, is it literally popping thumbs up every time you say it?
Thumbs up. Or if I do it.
If you do it. That's a great YouTube content there.
That's so dumb.
Does it do it on ours?
Yep. You got to watch the video to tell what the hell we're talking about.
You're probably too far away.
You got to say
That's
thumbs
funny.
up, maybe.
Thumbs up. That's hilarious.
Anyway.
Super distracting.
Yeah. I don't even know what we were talking about.
Drag racing. You said he was super slow.
Oh, the clutch things.
Yep.
So anyway, so the way the truck sits now, like, because we drag raced it back like 2014, 2013, something like that, with like actual, like, it was still stock suspension in the rear with double adjustables and like actual like 10.5 slicks on it. And it was a little bit sketchy then just because slicks kind of wander around a little bit and it had a good amount of rake to it. So it turns out that rake sketchy was way less sketchy than like it sitting level on really good suspension and the aero sketchy from 90 to 100. It like the second pass, I shift into third and I'm like, I almost said aloud, this is too fast. This truck makes more power than it needs to.
That's hilarious.
And so the whole back half of the track, it was the quintessential thing that I heard a long time ago of quarter mile racing is just eighth mile racing with another couple of seconds of waiting for something bad to happen at the end of it. And I'm just like, the whole back half of the track, I'm just like,
steady.
Yeah. It was like pulling a trailer in the rain. It was just like no sudden movements, just 10 and 2, like, okay, here we go.
Jeez.
And then he said after he
What the
made
hell is going on?
There's fireworks going off behind Dusty.
What the hell is going on?
Oh, that's too funny.
Is it a theme?
He's the grand. He won a grand prize.
I'm so confused as to what theme we have going on in our Zoom meeting.
Oh, it's amazing. I love it so much.
Is it the AI companion?
Probably.
I'll stop giving it thumbs up. So
This is great YouTube content. It's like,
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, come see how Zoom is messing with us this week.
Okay.
what a weird thing.
Yeah.
So anyway, he had a ton of fun. Truck did well other than the steering thing, which hopefully we're getting fixed here pretty soon.
Just throw money at it. It'll be fine.
Yeah. So
Fixes everything.
Yeah.
Yep. So some of the cool trucks that were there. So I took, I made a replica of our truck in 1/10 scale. So there's a picture of that in there.
Is
Like
it
one of those
RC?
drag slashes?
No. So it's another company's body that's it's technically a 65 C10 body
Oh, how dare you.
that I put on our, it's a Traxxas Fortec chassis, but I had to use the middle chassis out of a Supra because it's a slightly longer wheelbase to make it fit their wheelbase, and then might do some other weird things. But he lost his mind whenever I opened up the door of my truck and showed it to him whenever I got up there before we left on Wednesday.
I'm really sad that it's not on a drag slash.
Yeah, we just don't make the right. I don't know if anybody makes that a 60s body. Like that one is the only one I've seen, and it is like dead nuts scale accurate. It is super cool. I was super impressed.
Huh. That's pretty neat.
So you just do it just because, or was it like a birthday present?
I was going to do it as like a birthday or a Father's Day thing, and then I thought, well, I should just do this before we haul the truck across the country and go play with it. So,
no, that's super cool, man. That's awesome.
It is neat.
So anytime I go to a Good Guys or like this event, I come back and I want a slammed Pro Touring S10.
Yep.
As one should.
With an LS.
That's too bad.
And
I mean, you could do better than that, but
yeah, you know,
we have room to work. It's fine.
And I want an OBS, like a late 90s Chevy truck, regular cab, short wide bed.
Again, as one should.
And I have missed the boat on that. They're so expensive for anything that's half decent clean anymore. But so there was a white one there that company called Rustic Nail. I think he has a business that does like interior decorating stuff or like some, I'm not totally sure, but they also build hot rods. So this thing, it's the white one. It has like a completely shaved engine bay, like raunchy, nasty sounding LS, and it's got a quick change rear end in it, which is badass.
Yeah.
So
it's going to be the next hotness in GLTC here to here first.
Yes,
For sure.
It's like that's the most low hanging fruit thing at this point.
Yeah, pretty much.
It is.
So it's only money. So there was a guy with a 3/4 ton older model GMC truck next to us that his license plate was LBZ Drip.
Oh man,
diesel guys. Speaking of hot rod diesel guys,
I don't know how I feel about that.
So there's a blue, like super rusty 66 Chevy truck sitting on some
ground.
like super nice 3-piece wheels. This thing was like the farthest gone of any truck I've ever seen outside of a field, and had like full nice chassis done LS, and he was driving the crap out of it on the autocross course. Like
Rust is lighter than carbon. It's fine.
Exactly. You could see through the fenders. You could see through the cab corners. You could see through the hood. Wild stuff. And like, from what I could tell, everything underneath it was done super nice. So that one was pretty cool.
That's crazy. Because even far away in your picture, you're like, yeah, there's clearly a good chunk of the fender missing. There's holes that you can put your fingers or your hands through.
I don't know how I feel about this.
To me, it's a little too far gone for my taste, but
yeah, it would drive.
It looks really good.
obviously from what we have done with our cars, we're not capable of doing this because it would drive us totally insane to have something that was like just rusty like that. It would grate on me, but I also like have a real appreciation for the fact that they just left it like it was.
It's body on frame. It's not like the unibody is structural, like it can be a little rusty, and as long as you put good stuff underneath it, it's probably mostly okay.
Yeah, I'm assuming that like the cab mounts and everything had been
static?
Patched back up. But
or is it on air or is it static?
Yeah, so it's on air. And it also like
the picture you have is very low.
Yeah, that was dumped all the way on the ground.
Okay.
It's set up a little bit taller than what ours does whenever he was running it on the autocross.
I mean, yours is not what I would call tall.
Not at all.
By any stretch of the imagination.
Around this crew, it was tall.
Jesus. That's because they body drop them all. So, they're really not that low suspension-wise, but the body's real low.
No, these are just that low.
Yeah.
Like, they're not really sectioning them to do it. It's C-notch in the back, and then all of the aftermarket cross members in the front are designed around being this low. Like ours is set up like where ours sits, our lower arms are straight across. Like it is built around being that low.
Even so to get my Omni at the same ride height that it was before I put the BCs that are on it now, I had to have them all the way up. Like that's as tall as I can make the car, and that was the same ride height as it was before. I can only go down from there. So I get it.
So like our truck, the way it sits now, it actually has more ground clearance than what it did before because the exhaust is tucked, and the way that the front cross member works, everything is like just up at the level of the chassis instead of all the stock stuff is dropped significantly down below it. So like,
is the engine, like the top of your engine, really close to the hood?
No, it's nowhere. It's pretty much, I think it sits a little bit higher than what it did stock, but not it's not anywhere close. Yeah. We could put,
so you didn't like channel and lower the body around the frame?
No. Yeah. It's still, body still sits stock height on the frame.
Man, that's crazy.
It's just that that cross member just moves, like all the lower arm mounts and everything are moved up a decent amount.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That they gets that low without having to lower the body around it. That's crazy. Does it have a decent amount of like suspension travel?
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you have tubs in the front?
It rides and drives better than it did before. And it is legitimately like probably 4 inches lower in the front and probably 6 in the rear. And it was already low. Like it wasn't tall to begin with.
Does it have tubs up front, or are they factory wheel wells?
No, factory wheel wells. So if you run
315s,
since we're running 315s, we didn't have to. So if you try to dump them that low and run 20s, you've got to end up tubbing the top of them because there's not enough room because the front of that truck, like a third of the front of it is the hood,
right?
Like height wise. Yep. So. But yeah, there's gobs of room all the way around it with an 18x11 and 315s. I'm going to try, I think we're going to try to spec it out to do 12s on the actual wheels. The wheels that are on it right now are still the ones from the Camaro, but I think I want to do 12s all the way around, and then it'll get it to where we can stretch a yoke 315 on it a little bit because the 315 yoke is like anybody else's 335.
You put a 355 Vitour on there. I'm just saying.
Yeah. We'll get to that. So,
that's good.
So there's a company called Level 7 that does a lot of really cool truck stuff. So there's a yellow and white 70 or 71 Cheyenne.
That's 2 better than Level 5. I'm just saying.
Yes. So 19-inch forged lines, Michelin, like PS4s, just a cruiser LS. Like this truck is so cool. The interior is super finished out, but still looks like mostly factory, but like race inspired with a Momo wheel and everything. It's just like, I'd seen pictures of this truck for years, and then I'm walking like walking over to go to something on Saturday morning. It's like, oh my gosh, there it is. There's another blue 67, like 67 or 8 that I'd seen in, there's a truck magazine called CK Truck that they were there doing coverage of it. It's a super cool magazine, which is a weird thing to say in the year 2024, but it's actually a really cool magazine.
Like a paper printed magazine?
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
wow.
And
Wow.
it still feels
Last of a dying breed.
Who knew?
Yeah. And it, like, I talked to Scott, I think he's like an editor, or I don't remember exactly what his title is, but I was talking to him about it. And I was like, it feels like, because it's just basically a ton of pictures. And it's like just event coverage and like big ass, like 12-page features on trucks with a crap load of detail pictures and a little bit of story at the beginning of it of what the truck is about. And then a specs table at the end of it. And it's like, it's exactly what a magazine should be in this like time period. So super cool. If you see it out, check it out, buy a copy to support them. But this truck is from some guys called Babs Hot Rod Shop. So this thing has been their shop truck for like 14 years. And it is now essentially just like a full tube chassis, like scratch built suspension front and rear, pretty hot LS in it. And it has side pipes down the sides, and it sounds like what Mike Dussault's car used to whenever he had the side pipes on it.
Hell yeah.
And I'm just looking at this truck, and it's like all like fabricated sheet metal everywhere. And it's got brown leather interior.
Yes.
Like Mike's car does. I'm just like, this is Mike's car as a truck. It was just super cool. And they wheeled the crap out of it. So it was a cool to have seen it in a magazine, and then get to crawl all over it a little bit and see it in action. So
are those still leaf springs in the back?
No, it's so the rear end looked like kind of like an asphalt late model. Like it's like full square tube cage all the way around. Like the rear end like goes through cage bars
right
in the back.
Jesus Christ.
So there was an S10 there to get Adam's attention back on this. So this S10 takes off. I don't think I got a picture of the outside of it in there, but this S10 takes off, and I'm like, that does not sound like all of the other cars here. Like, what is going on?
That's not a V8.
It's clearly 4-cylinder. It's clearly forced induction.
Yes.
Like, this needs to go into
spirit animal.
Adam Nielsen's little world. So go over and talk to them. They were up from Louisiana, and it is a Cobalt SS supercharged 4-cylinder engine. Man, so
Robbie, do you guys info? I want to know how people do this.
You could do this.
Right if there. You look at it very close, right there.
I think the shitty part is that the transmission options are not good.
Yeah, I don't remember what trans he said he had with it, but and he also like hacked the crap out of the firewall to get it to fit in there and not be
now
like way far forward. It said that space was still kind of at a premium in there, but
I don't know why, but like putting the 2.2 in my S10 was one of the most difficult engine installations that my dad and I have ever done. And my dad's put engines in like literally every car made from like 1950 to 1985.
Well, the fact that engine was designed to sit this way.
Yeah, transversely.
And then, they were like, hey, let's just stick it in an S10 and put it front to back.
Yeah. Yeah.
But so yeah, that was cool. That was one of the
man, they took out a lot to push that firewall back.
Yes, yeah, he took out a solid portion of it.
Yeah,
I think he cut out like a good amount of the cowl too.
Because there's like no cowl anymore. Yeah. It's like gone.
Yeah, which I went over and me and my dad are standing there scratching our heads like, okay, what engine is that? We couldn't decide if it was like the 4-cylinder Atlas, like what they did the 5 and 6 cylinder version of, or like what, like I can decide exactly what it was, but
That's an Ecotec all day.
yeah. But like the head is like 8 inches wide, 10 inches wide. It's huge. It's just like this thing is just big for what it is.
It's a bit of an obnoxiously sized engine for sure. It's very tall. It's kind of like K-Series in that way. It's very tall.
Yeah,
yeah.
Whenever we first walked up to it, I'm just because I have grid life brain, I was just like, is that a, no, it's not a K.
It's definitely not a Honda.
It's big like a K, but it's not a K.
Yeah. I've seen that. Well, there's Rudd's Racing. They sell a swap kit for it, and they run in grid life.
Yep.
And they sell a K-Series swap kit. But man, that's interesting. That's a lot of hack and slash to make that work, though.
Yeah.
Huh. I don't think that's where I'm at in life.
Don't blame me on that one.
I think I'll just leave it.
Didn't get a picture of the Scout in there.
No, you did not.
Of all of the things that I could have forgotten. So
yeah, I think I got it somewhere though. I'll find it.
So fastest thing of the weekend on the property by far. I haven't seen all the results yet. I don't know if they posted them, but Tyler Gibson, it's an international Scout.
Scout 2.
Scout 2. Okay, yeah. I've followed him on Instagram forever. The thing's a small block. It's like,
is it really?
Pretty simple. Yeah. It's like a 400 and something cubic inch small block. Like this dude's after my heart.
I would have never guessed. That car, or that truck, I guess, was at, or has been at Good Guys for quite a few years that we've been going to that here in town. And it's always been fast. But it's super neat. I really like it.
Yeah. So he was running 315 and 345 Vitour, or however you say that. Controversy tires.
Yep.
200 treadwear all day long.
Yeah, there's a 200 treadwear rule here, but nothing about like tire availability, I guess. So as far as I know, he was the only one running them.
I think they're getting a lot easier to get, though.
Yeah, they are now. There's a huge push from them to get out there.
Yeah.
Yeah. One, like, they've got those massive sizes. Like I hadn't looked at them that close to realize they had a 345. Like this, like the Scout's not that wide. Like those tires, it looked like a Pro Street car from the back.
I don't remember what it is, but they make like a 295 or a 305 or maybe even like a 315 or some insane 15-inch tire.
Yeah.
Like it's wider than it is tall. And I am about that life.
Yeah, there was a Civic at Topeka that was running one of those.
Really?
That had those on the front. I think it's like a 285.
That's so cool.
Wild.
245 was like kind of the limit for a long time. I don't know if like you'd have to get.
Weren't you running that?
No, I had a 225 and a 13.
13, yeah, that's right. Okay.
Yeah, or I ran a 10, 13 by 10 on the slick.
Yep.
But the R888s I had that were garbage.
Yeah.
Those were a 225 30 13. 50 13? I think they were 30 13. I don't know. They were really low. No, they weren't that low.
They weren't that low pro.
Maybe they were a 50 13. I don't know. But those were 13s.
Yep.
Yeah. And what I have on those is just like a 205.
Okay.
But I don't know. I get that people are really like worked up about him, and fine, whatever. It's the internet.
Well, I don't know that anybody was super worked up about it. It was just like
no, but the internet in general is for sure.
It was,
yeah, maybe not this series, but other series.
Well, it was just funny at this event because and he drives the crap out of it, and he
always has.
He has worked and refined this thing.
That car's
and it's also
that truck's like
20 something. Yeah, it's like 20 something inches shorter than any of the other trucks.
It's on a tiny little S10 chassis.
Yeah. I think it might be a shortened S10 chassis. I don't know to get it that short.
I think it might be, yes.
Yeah, because I looked at
that's
it.
Got to be like
103 inches or something like that.
That's got to be like engine, transmission, U-joint, rear end.
Yeah, probably.
There's like a 6-inch drive shaft in there.
Maybe.
It's 2 U-joints with a small piece of pipe connecting them together.
Yeah, if he set it back at all, yeah, probably. But
Yeah, if that engine's pushed back at all, it's very short. If you use like a long nose or a long T56, like that's all you need. It's done.
yeah, so he like these tight sections where guys in trucks are like, oh, wheeler around. That thing just gets up there and it's just like, shoop, it's going the other direction. It's like, wait, what? So like, I think he got into the 30, like I think mid 39s. And I think the fastest I saw from anybody else was well into a 40 point something. And,
so he's solidly a second faster than everybody else.
Yeah. And so in the shootout, he wasn't quite as fast as he'd been, but he still won it like pretty comfortably in the final against, there's a guy named Joe Gregory that used to we've run against him in Optima stuff. And, he had, like a mid-year Corvette that we ran against him in that he had it was a step-side square body with yet again a raunchy sounding LS in it of some kind. I didn't ever get over and talk to him and find out what all was in it. But so at the weigh-in after the shootout, Scout weighs 3070, which is a 3,000 pound minimum in Outlaw. And Joe Gregory's truck was 39 something.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
I was like, Joe is wheeling the crap out of that truck.
Yeah. Jesus. So on basically a Hoosier A7.
Yeah.
Yeah, which I don't know what tires. We were kind of the oddballs on a set of Yokohamas. Most everybody was either rivals because they're connected with them in some way, or 660s.
A Falcon. So. Yep, those were always like the two big pro touring tires.
Yeah, Falcon did a lot. Falcon made a big name for themselves by sponsoring Optima pretty big for several years. Yep. So. But yeah, overall, it was a super cool group of people. Like, we rolled up into tech, and there was a guy in front of us that was driving one of the trucks that had a Finch chassis on it. He's from, I think, around Charlotte, and he was just like, "It's y'all's first time here," and just like talk to us, talk to us off and on the whole weekend. Y'all having a good time? Everything good? And it was just a outside of like grid life, it was one of the most laid back, just overall events I've ever been to. So it was a super fun little weekend, and trucks are kind of a big thing, turns out.
I feel like that's the kind of weekend a lot of us need to like remember why we like doing this.
Yeah. Could definitely use one of those.
Because like you say that grid life is laid back, and it is, but it isn't.
It's like super intense.
Very intense. And like,
yeah,
you guys literally went into this like, well, I mean, we're just here to have fun, and whatever happens, and that's fine. And you like haven't even mentioned where you ended up, and I don't care because it doesn't matter. And
that's partially because we don't know, because they haven't posted results.
And like, you just went out and like, I can't imagine how much fun it would be to do 20 or 25 autocross runs in one day. Like, that would be a riot.
Yeah, I was real jealous.
I would be exhausted by the end of the day.
That's a
workout, dude.
Yeah, he was. We got back to the hotel at like 9:30 on Friday night, and he just like
went to sleep. Yeah, but like this would have been cool. I think like this is a thing that a lot of my motorsports friend groups need and aren't getting. So I'm glad you went.
Yeah,
although we had kind of totally, I feel like you had mentioned you were doing this, but I didn't remember it, and so I was like, "What the fuck is he?
Where's he going?
Like, is he really going to?
It's not going to
surprise CMP or what? What is happening?"
Yeah, it's a tradition for me to just take off to go to a racing event and nobody know where I'm going.
Yeah. So, but
yeah. Oh, and then I pulled the super professional move of like I carried all of my camera gear up there, and I had not emailed or anything or called them leading up to it because they don't have like an official media thing on their website. And then I just found Arnie that runs it like while trucks were on course and was like, "Hey, is it possible for me to go out there and shoot?"
Yeah, of course.
He was like, "Who are you shooting with?" And I said the podcast. He was like, "Oh yeah, cool. Don't get hit. That's my only rule."
Funny, that's my rule too.
Yeah.
Oddly enough,
we're on the same page.
We have the similar rule books. I see.
Yeah, I said, "Trust me, no one wants to get hit by a truck less than me." So, and then he said, "If you get hit, I will take your body. There's a river over there. I will just dump it. Like no one will know where you came from."
I like it. I like it a lot.
That's the right way.
Yeah.
Yep.
He gets it.
Yep. So
that's a very truck guy response. Like, and also
that's the vibe I would expect.
That's a Bowling Green, Kentucky response as well, and I am here for that.
Yeah.
No complaints at all.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the guy from Charlotte that we met in the tech line, he has a son that was maybe 12, like maybe 12.
Yeah.
He drives his truck.
Oh yeah.
In the event.
Yeah. He drove it. He said he didn't drive. He didn't have him in his truck this time because his had leaked some brake fluid and it had gotten on the pedal, and he didn't want him to like slip off of the pedal on this course that's lined by concrete walls.
That's fair.
But he drove someone else's truck. He said, "We just rolled up the windows. Nobody knows."
You can't tell under the helmet anyway.
I don't think anybody would have asked any questions.
No, because they know Finch well enough. Like these guys have traveled all over the country doing events and stuff. So they're doing. They're actually the group that's going to run the autocross. There's a C10 Nationals event next month at Texas Motor Speedway. So we're going to go out there and we'll both get to drive it then. So
nice.
I'll get to play around with it.
I feel like they do a lot of really cool events there.
So TMS is weird. There's like 5 events from March until May, including NASCAR, and then there's nothing the rest of the year. It's super weird. They have a dirt track that they're actually doing some more stuff at this year.
Because isn't that where they did FD?
They used to, yeah. They don't.
They don't anymore.
I saw a comment on something.
Is that where Big Haas is?
What's that?
Is that where Big Haas is?
Yeah. Yeah, that's where I went for FD, but yeah, they stopped coming here, and I saw something in a comment at one point that alluded to the fact that Ryan Sage had said that it was the biggest pain in the ass of a place they'd ever been to work with, which is also why we don't autocross there anymore, and also why a lot of things don't happen there anymore, because they still think that it's the glory days of NASCAR, and they can charge like $30,000 to rent anything there for half a day. And
yeah, that's what the Iowa Speedway turned into as well.
Yeah, Iowa Speedway is.
And that's what sucks too, because it was that way, and then they changed management, and then they were all on board again.
Yeah, that guy was like, "Let's bring cars here every weekend."
He was all in.
Let's do it.
And then the Cup Series was like, "No, you need safer barriers on the inside." Fuck. There goes the road course. Done.
Well, you could run the oval.
Nah, we're not going to do an event that way though. We brought it up. It crossed our mind.
I mean,
it wouldn't be worth it.
It might be fun wheel to wheel.
We talked about it.
It wouldn't be like the dumbest thing you've ever done as a wheel to wheel event. It'd be awful as a time trials event.
We still thought about it and talked about it.
Yeah.
And we still
does it have like a Legends course in the infield or in the like the front straight?
No.
I don't remember what that.
No, it's a very small oval.
It's like a 3.
It's like one of the smallest ones.
It's tiny.
So it doesn't have anything cool or fun. And now there's safer barriers where you used to come up. So you used to do front straight, NASCAR 1 and 2, back straight, and then right before you went into NASCAR 3, you dove into the infield.
Yeah, it's just like PPIR. Copy paste.
Yeah.
Almost.
Except PPIR is a lot bigger and not nearly as banked.
You could so there's a paved Legends track up on the front straight. You could like have it to where the cars come in and cross each other like a figure 8.
Oh, now we're talking.
You know what?
Now we're talking.
Now I'm in.
I mean,
it's fine.
More racing.
What's the worst that could happen?
Needs an intersection, really.
Yeah.
Racing isn't dangerous enough. That's what we're getting at.
if everyone behaves themselves, it's not a problem.
Exactly.
Oh, I see what you're talking about. That's a racetrack?
Yeah, for Legends cars. The little, like...
The little thing on the front street?
Oh, yeah. I don't think
Yeah.
they've ever used that.
I'd be shocked if they have. There's one of those at the end of the drag strip in Eddyville, too,
Oh, yeah.
which we used to run autocrosses on.
I bet they've used it for autocross.
Well, when the Corvette Club ran an autocross there, that looked actually really sweet.
Yeah, they basically did a track sprint, and then they utilized the bank.
But they did it in reverse.
Yeah.
And then they did an offset slalom on the turn on the bank.
Yep.
And I was like, I'm so into this, I can't even describe. That looks amazing.
Yep.
One of my favorite obstacles on a bank. Get out of here. And then they never did it again. I never got to go.
Yeah, there was a Corvette club here that was doing stuff, and like I went and looked up the rules for it, and it was the weirdest thing. They called each run an event.
Yep. It's super confusing.
That's what they do.
I was like, we're gonna do 12 events? What? Like, is this a series?
You can pay for one event, too.
Yeah.
You can just go out there and do one 30-second run that day and call it good. Like, all right, well, I raced my Corvette.
I want to say I did that one weekend where I just paid for this. Because I could only be there for
half the day
or something.
Yeah, so they'll let you pay for like 3 events.
Yeah, I did that once.
Yep, it's a thing.
Man, Corvette people.
Yeah.
When we did the one in Spirit Lake, Josh and I were like first and second. Josh won overall.
Yeah.
And they literally told Josh, we really don't appreciate... He was in his Miata. Yep. And at that time, it wasn't even the turbo car. It was just his NA 1.8 car. And they literally told Josh, when they handed him this trophy or whatever, like, we really appreciate you guys showing up and beating all of us like this. Like,
be better. I don't know.
I'm sorry.
Get better at it.
Don't suck.
Yeah.
The big thing was there were like 2 parking lots connected by a driveway with curbs.
Oh, so everyone just like pussyfooted
like
through
a 2-lane driveway with curbs, and they put a slalom on it.
Oh, jeez.
That's not in the SCCA. Well, it is in the SCCA handbook, but it's in the
do not do. And so it was a lot of time to be made up on the rest of the field there.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah.
Especially if you're driving a car you don't give a single solitary shit about.
Josh and I just kept pushing each other to go faster and faster in it.
Yep.
And yeah, it was.
Everyone else is just like half throttle on it.
Yeah. Well, then there was like some kid in a Mustang who lost it and destroyed a wheel the first year or the second year we were there. And
yep.
Yeah.
That checks out.
It was an awful autocross. but like that was part of its charm. So anyway.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Pro-Touring things.
My summary of the Pro-Touring Truck Shootout is go buy a truck and slam it on the ground and put some sticky tires on it. You might be surprised.
I do support
pretty damn fun.
I am all in on that. Yeah.
There's one of the guys that he used to run a club here that they ran the first couple of C10 Nationals, like autocross, like they did the actual event. And he was talking to me after the first time he did it. And this was well before we had done anything with ours yet. And he was like, I just don't understand these idiots doing this stuff to these trucks.
Sounds like my wife. She hates lowered trucks. She doesn't.
What? They're awesome.
They're the best.
And lowered is better than lifted.
100%, Robbie. Never has there been a thing that I'm like, yeah, that's better because it's taller.
Yeah, and like, I'm going to wrap towels around it, but I'll still throw stuff in the back of it. Like, it's still a truck. So.
Right.
But so like the couple local ones that I've done with it, Jarrett walks by every time and I just see him just like look over at the front of it and just shake his head.
Hell yeah.
That means you're doing something right.
Yeah, it's something. But yep, it was a ton of fun. It was cool to get to help crew chief and tune and driver coach him for a change because he did it for me for years and years with the Camaro. So it was a fun role reversal. And I got to take some cool pictures too.
Yeah.
So
No, it looked like an awesome time.
Why didn't you take the bus?
It just didn't it didn't make a whole lot of sense
for two of you.
It was $250 worth of hotels or $800 in fuel.
Right.
Well, I mean, so pulling the trailer, it gets like 6.5, and his truck got like 11. So it's not like, in the end, it was kind of, well, and it's also not, it wasn't readily available anyway. If we had planned to do it, they did a trip and they're having to get some stuff done to it after they went to California and back with it. So it was getting a little TLC from that, but
it's really, so as I do now, anytime a friend of mine goes to a racetrack, I Google mapped it to see if there were ponds there so you could go fishing.
It's right next to a river.
It's right next to a river. There are ponds on the facility, by the way. But also, it turns out there's an amusement park, with a roller coaster and stuff.
Yeah.
Man, I haven't been on a roller coaster forever.
Like a wooden one.
Yeah.
And it looks like kind of like that would be if, apparently, according to Dusty, he's not even sure it's a thing anymore.
I think it's just open seasonally. The times I've been there, it hasn't been open, but
I feel like that would be a sweet, like if the Pro-Touring truck thing lined up with the amusement park,
yeah,
like that would be a really cool family weekend.
Yeah.
That'd be fun.
I like it.
And go fishing.
Yeah.
You can catch some river monsters.
Yeah. Probably not.
And also, it had been raining so much that river was moving.
That makes it even harder.
Yeah.
Yeah, you definitely would have lost a few things. If
I probably wouldn't have even
that.
tried, to be completely honest with you. I'm not that dedicated.
No.
And like our whole way up there in the rain, I'm just looking off the sides of the highway, and it's just water everywhere. It was like, it felt like we were going to New Orleans, not Kentucky. It was wild. Yep.
'Tis the season.
Yeah.
April showers bring May flowers, as they say.
I was shocked at how much water, like, the other side of Iowa or Illinois and Indiana had.
Yeah.
Because, like,
Yeah.
pulling into Ohio, it's like, these rivers are full.
I mean, ours are getting up there again, thank God.
But still,
They're still super low.
like a third capacity.
Yeah, you still, like, you drive around there's a lot of lakes
the
where
bottom.
you can tell that they're like feet lower than they should be.
Yeah.
So,
My pond included.
your pond's getting closer. It's closer.
It's low.
It's closer.
She's low. She's as low as his pickup. That's how low she is.
She's not that low.
Yeah, she's low.
So, well, cool.
Yeah, fun times.
At least somebody did
So
something.
yeah, be on the lookout for my OBS or my S10 project coming soon.
Good.
I'll sell you
Good.
one.
Yeah, you don't have enough projects.
If I sold a Z, then it would look a little different. But yeah,
How much you want for the Z?
Let's make a deal.
Yeah. We can throw in the
Yes,
S10.
I was going to say, we'll throw in an S10.
Yeah, and a Focus.
no, I don't want a rusty S10.
It's not that bad.
No, you got to start from scratch anyways.
Yeah, what do you care? It's just nothing a little bodywork can. Dalton's Chop Shop will have it fixed in a weekend.
Yeah.
That's very true.
No, so my stupid S10 idea has been to use the bed off of a crew cab. That's that short, like little short bed that doesn't
Yes.
have hardly anything in front of the wheel opening.
Yep.
And put it on an extended cab. Put an extended cab with that on a regular like short bed single cab wheelbase.
You're not as innovative as you think you are.
I'm sure it's been done before. I don't really
yeah.
care. Rear mount rad, like just do all kinds of dumb stuff, and then like do some like Baja truck, like Fiberworks fenders on it, and stuff as much tire as I'll get.
So my two dream S10 builds, I have a street one and a racetrack one.
Sure.
My street dream S10 is the crew cab, but I find one that's a two-wheel drive, and I put all the extreme parts on it so it's down low, and then take the side skirts and lengthen them out so that they fit like they're supposed to,
Yep.
and build a 4-door extreme.
I like it.
That's my street car or my street truck build.
Yeah, we could have that knocked out in a week at Dalton's.
Yeah. And then what I want to do for a race truck is channel and body drop one so that it can be super low, and then put those the long travel suspension flared Baja fenders on it so that everything fits right. because I think it'd look ridiculous, and I'd love it. Put just the meatiest of meats that meat can meet on the front and back. Just be the best. Wide-bodied.
I support every
slammed
bit
to the
of this,
ground,
yes.
but since it's body dropped, it still has the right amount of suspension travel.
Yep, in all in. Yeah, a lot of stuff to do here coming up, man.
I have $0 and
It's
0
fine.
cents.
It's fine. Once you start moving
We've
stuff
known
out,
you've had 0 cents for a long time now.
Well,
we all have 0 cents.
I spend too much
Talking
money
about
on
cars.
fishing, so
Hobbies are dumb.
why is there nothing that's like
Just
reasonable and fun?
yeah,
Because we want
don't
this.
talk
We want this level of fun, and that's
But
too
there's
much.
nothing that's like reasonable
No,
and fun.
skating was.
No, it wasn't.
Yes, it was.
hospital bills.
Back when insurance covered things, it was.
But even still, like,
Back
Your
when
parents had to pay
our
for that.
parents' insurance covered
I
it.
feel like I couldn't go to work a lot now
Win.
because
Adam.
I got bills to pay, Robbie.
Eh.
It is funny that we were like $300
Who's buying $300 skates twice a year?
twice a year. How do you expect me to afford this?
Yeah.
We won't talk about how much money was in that plastic Pelican case that I drug with me to Kentucky.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh god.
Meanwhile, there's $50 worth of lures at the bottom of Robbie's lake that I left there.
Yeah, at least I hold on to my cameras.
There is more than one $8 to $10 lure that I lost in your pond on my first cast of that lure.
You do have to be really
Well,
careful.
when-
There's a lot of trees and shit in there.
Yeah, I know.
When Robbie gets rid of the race car and takes up scuba diving, he can go down there and find them for you.
I really
That's really not that
appreciate
far
my
off.
sleeper
Yeah.
deal and my red craw.
But for the
limitless
record,
crankbait.
there's no fucking way I'm scuba diving in freshwater. No way.
There's no point.
Absolutely not.
Not in our area.
That cesspool? No.
There's no point in
I'm not scuba diving in that.
scuba
no.
diving in freshwater.
No.
There's nothing.
No, there's nothing good in
There's
this
nothing
freshwater.
cool in freshwater
Nothing
to look
good.
at.
No. You're there.
take
You're,
some-
you're there because there's a dead body and you're trying to find it because that's your job.
Right.
That's the only time you scuba in freshwater.
Yeah, for sure.
Just take some goggles and spray paint the inside black, and that's what it's like to scuba dive 2 feet
Right.
down into any
Seriously.
Well, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't get it.
No, I remember when that kid.
There's a ton of people who scuba dive at the Great Lakes.
Forget that, dude.
There's like things to dive on. There's actually, I think it's a Ford, but there's an old Ford pickup truck at the bottom of Lake Okoboji, at one of the lakes in Okoboji.
Yep.
But there's more than one.
Well, but it apparently the tires still have air in them, and so it's buoyant enough that it will move with current, but not buoyant enough that it can get
Anywhere.
shallow enough to be a danger.
Interesting.
And so it's people's dive on it and track where it is throughout the year.
Huh.
There's a whole thing about it in the museum, which is actually a really interesting museum.
Yeah, I believe that.
It's really cool.
Well, once I take.
And there's some like boat wrecks and like old things in the bottom of the lake that people dive on quite a bit, apparently.
I am 200% out on diving to a sunken boat. No, absolutely not. That gives me the supreme heebie-jeebies.
See, I'm the other end of
I
this.
follow a guy
on
who
the other end,
I
man.
follow a guy who dives on shipwrecks in the Great Lakes, the real Great Lakes,
Yeah.
not the Iowa Great Lakes. Dude, there's some incredible things that he takes pictures of
I believe
at the
that.
bottom of those lakes.
Yeah.
Well, at the bottom that he can scuba dive to
That he can-
of
yeah,
those
that he
lakes,
can
because
make it
there's
to.
a lot of that lake or those lakes you can't scuba dive to,
Right.
like where the Edmund Fitzgerald is. She's
Yeah.
deep.
No, I'm all in on the scuba. He watches Ghost Ship, the movie, and then thinks how terrible that would be to go and save a ship or a sunken ship.
I've never watched that movie.
Or like Into the Blue, where they're scavenging or whatever, dude.
Nope.
Dude doesn't watch movies. But I watch that and go, like, that's the best idea ever. That's all I want to do is treasure hunt with my scuba.
Katie and I both decided that quirky Jurassic Park theme song is better. So
It's wrong. No. Quirky Jurassic Park theme song ruined it.
it's adorable.
It's not adorable. It's for children, and Jurassic Park is not for children.
It wasn't. It is now.
They ruined it.
Well, you're not wrong there. I still remember as a small child hiding behind a couch
That's what it's supposed to
during
be.
the Velociraptor in the kitchen scene.
That's the best scene ever shot in any movie ever.
Gives me the heebie-jeebies. Speaking of
Yeah,
heebie-jeebies,
you should read the book.
Oh, it's so good.
I would love to listen to the book on tape, but they only give me the second one on Libby, and I don't want to start in the middle.
Well, yeah, don't do that.
Yeah,
It's great on its own, but you need to start. Yeah,
Right. I want to read. I want to hear the first one.
See, I'd say you could borrow my copy, but I know you're not going to read it.
Gonna read it. I don't have that kind of time.
It's all about priorities, Adam.
Robbie, I haven't played Skyrim in 2.5 months, probably.
I am 68% done with Grand Theft Auto 5. I started it like after my surgery.
I don't know what to tell you, Robbie.
I don't know. It's been a nice escape. I've enjoyed
The
it.
few times that I could do that, I go fishing instead.
Yeah, well, I couldn't go to the gym, and then I got a little burned out on iRacing because I did that a lot. I needed something else to do.
Yeah, we're just rambling. We should probably shut this down.
Yeah, we got like 2 slip angles done. We should probably wrap this up.
Robbie was like, I'm burned out on racing, so I'm going to go fake racing. And now he's burned out on fake racing.
A little bit.
But he's ready for real
A
racing.
little bit. The day that I matched the YouTube guide on how to do a fast lap,
Right.
And then they use the super crazy fast lap that no one can get, and I fucking matched it. I was like, okay, I'm not as terrible at this
But
as I
can you
thought.
match it twice?
Oh yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah. Once it's one of those things. Once you get there,
Yeah.
then you can continue. We'll just say it was doing it's Road America. So I'm doing 234. I'm like, this is the best I can fucking do. And then okay, well then 233, 232.
Oh, I know.
And then there's nothing like you could literally not fuck up enough to get back to 234. It's
Right.
I got it. I got it dialed. I'm like, okay.
Right.
Then once I got to I think whatever the number was, so it was within a tenth of the actual. Going in there and going into an open lobby and then seeing your name at the top, fucking amazing.
It's a rush.
It's a fucking amazing feeling.
Jesus Christ.
That's all those guys end up spending so much money on GLTC.
Nerd.
It's all the same shit.
Yeah, that's fair.
Acting like you wouldn't be all excited about your Skyrim name being on top.
If there was a listing, I would probably
That's
be
what I'm
near
saying.
the top of it. I have zero intention of tournament fishing, though.
Bullshit.
Burn now.
Slap bet
Robbie,
right here, right
have
now.
I ever been the competitive type of person?
And yet you still do them.
No, I don't.
I on the podcast right now, slap bet. Adam
talked
will
for
do
2
a
hours.
fishing contest.
I'll never do a fishing tournament.
Never.
For 2
never,
hours about
never,
competition
never.
stereo.
Yeah, no shit.
That's true. But I just wanted to build crazy shit.
But you still wanted to do it.
You just want to
You
catch
wanted to.
crazy
You
fish.
wanted
I
to.
wanted
base
the
race.
validation,
That's fine. Just like fishing.
but I can get the validation just by catching the fish. I don't need to do it at a tournament.
Until it starts giving away free poles and all that other stuff.
I don't want to do it. See,
Until
that's like spending $500 in the hopes that you'll win a $200 pole. It doesn't make any sense.
The entry fees are not $500.
No,
Until
but
you're
you got to pay for gas and boat and all that horseshit because nobody's bank fishing tournaments.
Probably better than racing.
I mean, we should bank fish tournament. If there was a bank fishing tournament, I might be in on that. Maybe I'll start a bank fishing tournament series,
There you go. I like it.
but I won't compete in it.
Fine.
I can start one and not compete in it, and that still counts.
That's
the
fair.
10-pound test podcast presents the Bank Fishing World Series.
All
Are you
right.
committed to fishing but not committed enough to buy a boat? Have we got a tournament for you?
It's a different skill set. Everybody knows that.
Yeah, for sure. I kind of liked when we were doing it on the boat when I was in Minnesota because he would just troll and I would just cast. And then we would wait for a fucking not barracuda. What am I thinking of? One of those
A pike.
pike. Wait for a fucking pike to hit that thing, and it's like I got a pike.
Yeah.
It was neat.
It's like Katie's stepdad. I swear he's commercial fishing.
He just throws out 12.
He's got 4 poles out at the same time, and he just trolls around and waits for one to hit it. He's commercial fishing is what he's doing. He doesn't even cast.
It's like when Abe was talking about hunting. No, you're just waiting. You're not hunting.
He's not wrong.
You're not actively hunting.
No, you're waiting for a deer to cross through your sights. He's not wrong.
He's not wrong.
I fish. He is commercial fishing.
Yeah, he's waiting.
Yeah. For a fish.
And on that note, thank you, Dusty, for coming on, talking about truck stuff. Otherwise, we just ramble about fishing. Yeah.
Go buy a truck and make it go around corners.
Oh, okay, I'm in.
Well.
It's got to do it well. Yeah.
Go around corners well. They all go around corners, just not well.
I don't know. If you go to Good Guys, some of the best ones are the ones that don't do it well. So
see, I couldn't disagree with that statement more if I wanted to. I always hate that stuff.
Oh, well.
I'm no fun.
I'm about to say Adam hates fun. That's not
It's
news.
true. It's true. I don't like fun.
And on that note, we'll catch everybody next week.